All right, guys, thanks for hanging out with me on my back porch here in Central Florida today. I want to talk ever so briefly on the subject of fame. And I would love to hear your comments and your opinions down below in the comment section. Just be respectful and be honest. I mean, you might be able to fool me or anybody else, but you can't fool yourself. And being forthright about this is probably the best way to get something out of this. All right, so please make it all the way to the end of the video before you do leave a comment, because I can tell when somebody hasn't watched the whole thing and they're already asking me questions that I've answered. And so it's kind of annoying. I'm just being real here. But okay, so my first question I have for you is, have you ever wanted to be famous? I mean, really? I mean, I know you have, by the way. It's true. It's part of who we are. It's in our DNA almost. I don't know if that's maybe accurate to say, but that's how I'm thinking, at least. I mean, you grow up watching TV, going to movies, and you watch these actors and actresses play very lovable characters on screen, and you think to yourself, man, they're pretty good. I like them, and you begin to follow them. I don't mean stalking them. I just mean, you watch all their stuff, and then you entertain the idea of what is it like to be them. What is it like to have what they have, to have the money, to have the homes, to be able to go where they go, to be able to shake hands with the people they do. I mean, you just think, well, it's only good on good, right? And we forget that maybe it's not what it's all cracked up to be. Now, chances are, many of you watching this have already decided that. You've paid attention to what's going on in our culture. With every day we get news about another famous person, another someone that we know quite well, that there's something bad about them. I mean, there's a running Rolodex on all the ills and unfavorable things that people have said and done. And it's become crazy. So some of us know we wouldn't want to be famous, but fame isn't all bad. And it could be that you're someone who has been trying to achieve fame on some level, because it is on a spectrum, and you haven't yet. You're a little upset about it because maybe you're someone like me who's a content creator, you got a YouTube channel, and so you do need a certain level of notoriety to get anywhere. It's not real important, but I mean, it does matter to some degree, right? So I've thought about this, and I do know that there's, I've listened to content creators on YouTube get very upset that they're not doing better, that they're not more famous than what they are, and they're jealous of other people. And that's not the right way to think of it, because if you could trade places, you might realize you don't want what they have. Okay, so I'm hoping that we can change the way we think about some of this. So I've written down 7 words that I believe describe why we want to be famous. Okay, let me make sure that you understand that I'm painting with a broad brush. I've talked about celebrities here, but they're not the only people that are famous. It could be people in your community, anybody that you look up to that you feel is well recognized or well thought of, and it could be a politician if you're into politics. I mean, it could be any number of people, but yeah. So regardless of where you stand on this, it's the people who live differently than you and I do, and it's because they have certain advantages because they're well known. All right, so here's the reason why we would want to be famous to begin with. All right, all these words start with the letter A, only because I forced these letters to start with A. They didn't need to. I could have come up with different ones, but I don't know. Just having fun with it. All right, so here's the first one. Famous people have an audience. So many of us want to be taken seriously. We want to be heard. And we have these ideas, right? We have these ideas for what we want to do in life. And we kind of need some help, but we have to have an audience. Or maybe we want to benefit from what other people could do for us. It still requires an audience. It might be a small one, it might be a big one. But the audience is required. And when you get an audience, you get the second word, which is attention. Some people are hungry for it. Some people are just downright narcissistic. But attention's not all bad. If you have someone's attention, you can convey your ideas, and you can pitch your purpose, and you can help others benefit from it. But other people are just selfish and they're only in it for them. But nevertheless, attention is the other thing you get on top of an audience. All right, with both of those things, you get admiration. Who wouldn't want to be adored? Who wouldn't want to have affection, which is 2 more A words, by the way? Who wouldn't want to have all of that? I mean, you look at some of these groups who get on stage and their bands, and the way people swoon, and oh man, and you think to yourself, what's it like to be them? To have people love you that much? Well, I personally don't know. I personally don't know, but we've thought about it, right? That's one of the things that drives us to want to be famous, is the admiration. One of the things that goes along with celebrity is awards, right? I almost left this one out. But, you know, your achievements are oftentimes rewarded. It's tangible. It may just be you're awarded with greater opportunity, or you've been given something material, or just recognition. So awards are one of the things that make us want to be famous. Another thing that being well recognized, another thing we get for being well recognized is access. Access. I mean, there are some things that you're going to get more easily if people know your name. If they know your face, if they know who you are, some things just get dumped on you without you having to pay for it, without you having to ask. And that's kind of nice. So I think that's one of the reasons we would like to be famous. Another thing is the accumulation of wealth. No doubt. We believe that if we're wealthier, if we have more money, we're going to be happier. And so, you know, give me some of that. Give me some of that is what people are thinking. If I could just get people to like me enough to hand over their trust to me, and therefore their beneficence would greatly enhance my life. The other thing that people think that fame gives them is authority. Well, it depends on your role. Some people who are well known believe they have authority and don't really, and they should stop trying. And other people are famous because they're in a position of power, and they actually do have it. And some of us starve for that. I personally don't. I'm not a power-hungry person, but there are people that are quite like that. So those are the 7 A words for what they're worth. I'm just kind of toying with them. And here's what made me think of this whole thing to begin with. I was reading in my quotes book today. Like I said before, I read a page a day out of a book of quotations, and I fell upon a couple of them. And I think that this will put things into perspective. You may not want to be famous after this. So if you're feeling unhappy because, you know, you're not getting enough attention, affection, you know, you're not getting some of that money that they have, you're not getting all the things, all the accoutrement that comes with fame, you may change your mind after this. Joseph Addison said this. He said, "Our admiration of a famous man lessens upon our nearer acquaintance with him. And we seldom hear of a celebrated person without a catalog of some of his weaknesses and infirmities." Understand that the higher you move up the ladder socially, the more well-known you are, the greater the opportunity for you to be scrutinized, to be hated, to be maligned. Everybody knows that. But you might have put it out of your mind because you don't want to think about it. You're too fixated, and you might think you're smart enough to get around that, but you're not. Okay, and you know, there's not a one of us. If people knew us better, they'd be able to overlook our faults. It's just magnified when you're in the spotlight. All right, the second one was by a man named Edwin Hubble Chapin, or Chapin. I'm not sure how you pronounce his last name. He said, "It is the penalty of fame that a man must ever keep rising. Get a reputation and then go to bed is the absurdest of all maxims. Keep up a reputation or go to bed would be nearer the truth." What he's saying here is that the amount of work you've got to put in to be well known and to stay well known and to keep that kind of leverage is exhausting. It's absolutely exhausting. Let's take YouTubers, for example, since this is what I do, okay? I'm not on that level where I have any real fame, but I'm a little thankful. But nevertheless, there are some people like Casey Neistat, and you hear him talk about this. There's all sorts of people, like Tim Pool, the Quartering. These are guys I listen to. The Quartering, they have great followings, but they're also subject to really bad things happening to them. And if you watch these guys, you'll know they get swatted. They get all sorts of hate mail in the form of comments and threats over the phone. And if anybody can find any dirt on you, they're going to expose you. So to keep a good character, to keep your character upright, to keep your reputation unsullied, is very, very difficult when you get to that level. So if you think you're unhappy because you haven't gotten there, because you haven't got what you wanted and you're jealous of somebody else because they have, don't be. Don't be. Just be happy wherever you're at. And if you should achieve fame, enjoy that too. And keep your nose clean, keep your head down, keep it on swivel, actually, is what I should say. And mind your P's and Q's, because it's not what it's all cracked up to be. I hope that's made you think about it, perhaps a little bit differently. Those are just some of my thoughts for today. I hope they've meant something to you. I hope they've made you think a little bit differently. And just enjoy wherever you're at on the spectrum, no matter what it is. And stop thinking about what you don't have. Enjoy what you do. And I think that if you can leverage well your position now, you'll really have no problem getting to the point where you can help a great many people. Just don't ever make everything about yourself, no matter what it is. That's it. That's all I got to share with you today. I have run myself ragged with trying to make this video, overthinking it too much, doing take after take. Now I'm super thirsty, and I'm really hungry, and I've got to go. But I do thank you for watching. All right, I'll catch you guys on the next one. In the meantime, be wise.